From Funko Pops to carburetors, eBay has just about everything you need from the secondary market. Some people make their living reselling items from estate sales, and others just sell leftover junk for more than what a garage sale would get them. However you use the platform, eBay is typically a smooth and easy process. You might run into a seller trying to scam or a buyer who wants an unfair refund, but for the most part, people are pretty honest. What about if a seller is a little too honest? What if the story behind an auction is enough to cause internet-wide hysteria and gather over 30,000 views on one single eBay listing? This is the chilling and true story behind Bill Stoneham's infamous painting, The Hands Resist Him. The art piece contains a young boy standing in the doorway next to a doll of a little girl. There are hands reaching out from behind the glass door that the boy is standing in front of. According to some art critics way more experienced than me, the doll represents a guide into a world beyond ours. The hand themselves represent other lives or timelines reaching out for the young boy. Online viewers thought the doll held a gun towards the boy, but Stoneham later cleared it up and said that it was a tangle of batteries and wires from the doll herself. The original painting was put up in the 70s at the Feingarten Gallery in Beverly Hills, California. This specific art show was full of only Bill Stoneham's art. During this time, Stoneham was popular in the art space, but his transition out of the aristocratic, artsy bubble would not happen until decades later. This exhibit was covered by an art critic in Los Angeles Times. One of the high-profile attendees was American actor John Marley, who is most famous for playing Jack Waltz. Marley's famous horsehead scene in The Godfather might have influenced him into purchasing Stoneham's The Hands Resist Him. The amount that John Marley purchased the original painting for is not public information, unlike the later eBay sale. With Marley's passing in 1984, the painting found its way to an old brewery still in California. I assume there was some sort of auction upon Marley's death where the painting was bought for the business. This part of the story is where we have to rely on the information provided through the original eBay listing by the elderly California couple who found the painting at the brewery. This couple listed the item and reported experiencing some very strange events throughout their time owning it. They claimed that some nights the owners saw the characters in the painting leave their frame and walk about the room that they were hung up in. Other times there are reports of the doll threatening the young boy with a gun, forcing him to leave and wander about the room. This listing caught more traction than any other eBay auction to date. The listing reached over 30,000 views and ended up with 30 bids. The painting sold for $1,025 to the Perception Gallery in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, why did this specific painting gain so much traction? The urban legend of this piece started around the year 2000 when it was listed. Many online viewers reported feeling sick and having symptoms of vertigo and nausea upon looking at the listing. These stories expanded to even worse and probably exaggerated diagnoses, which shot the attention into all reaches of the early 2000s internet. Perception Gallery reached out to Stoneham and told him about the legend that stemmed from the eBay auction, and he was very surprised by the interpretations and rumors. Bill did add to the mystery of the painting, however, by saying that the owner of the original gallery and the art critic who reviewed it originally died within a year of coming into contact with the painting. Stoneham proved to be an artist of the people and has been very responsive over the last few decades to fans. He created several more entries into the series through commissions. The first additional entry was commissioned in 2004. Resistance at the Threshold depicts the boy from The Hands Resist Him, who is now an older man standing in the same doorway as the original. The doll has also grown, but is depicted slightly more withered. The hands through the door seem to have evolved alongside our main characters. There are also some large bee creatures, which I assume were part of the commission. The painting shows how maybe the boy from the original grew up in some sort of apocalyptic or steampunk-like world. The second commission, The Threshold of Revelation, shows an even further sequel world that differs much more than the second entry. The old man is seen fishing in a sewer system in the same world as the other paintings. The doll, or what seems like the doll character, is more human in this depiction. The hands are still at the entrance of some sort. The vibe of this painting almost seems like a badly AI created picture with parts floating and a lot of disconnected pieces, even though this was commissioned in 2012. The third commission in Stoneham's series is actually a prequel to the original painting instead of a sequel like the others. The Hands Invent Him was commissioned in 2017, depicts a boy painting the hands resist him from within the painting. We can see the silhouette of the young boy next to the doll. The most interesting part of this entry is the fact that the hands seem to either be an illusion of roots from the other side of the window, or they have not yet been painted by the young kid who is our artist. The most recent entry takes a drastic step away from the common themes of all the other paintings. Stoneham's What Remains shows a large red hole in the ground that seems to be consuming different aspects of prior paintings. This 2021 piece seems to show some sort of conclusion to the series. I'm not certain if Bill will paint more in this series, but this entry is a great conclusion if he decides to leave it here. All of these prints can be found on his website, which I will link in the description below. The prequels and the sequels did not quite gain the notoriety that the original had. Not many claims of trans technology, viruses, or weird happenings followed the commissions. I truly love the fact that an artist can interact with fans and their ideas to create such a story and build upon early internet urban legends. Many early internet mysteries such as creepypastas or any scary image often are either left to their own original stories or have poorly made fan entries added, let's be honest. Most stories that scared me as a kid on the internet do not hold up very well at all. Stoneham created a story without even trying, and then built a world around what over 30,000 people created. That's what makes this internet mystery so special. He did not mean to create this scary image, it was just a painting he decided to make, and then the internet took off with it. It feels like a group project with a very strong leader that continues even until this day. I'm very excited to see if any more commissions or paintings come out of this. Thank you all very much for watching, and please drop any other unique internet mysteries in the comments below. And hey, if you feel like it, go request a commission from his website.